Welcome to the Orange Hammer Podcast. My name is Corbett Storick. I've been a licensed general contractor for 8+ years, specializing in new construction, renovation, furniture building. I'm the son of an architect and an interior designer, and I've been surrounded in this industry since birth, watching all aspects from concept, design, build, punch list, and of course, all the problems that come up in between. In my time in Durham, North Carolina, I've noticed a significant gap in knowledge between homeowners who need work and the people who do the work. On this podcast, I hope to break down the process of homeownership from the perspective of both the homeowner and the contractor in an effort to help raise the knowledge of homeowners about their homes and the construction/renovation process. I hope you enjoy. If you're enjoying the Orange Hammer Podcast, or if you have a topic that you want covered, or have recently done a project, please contact the Orange Hammer Podcast. The Orange Hammer Podcast is on Instagram and Facebook. Please like and subscribe, share on whatever platform you're enjoying your podcast on. Also, check out our YouTube channel, The Orange Hammer. The Orange Hammer Podcast is proud to be brought to you by CRS Contracting, LLC, for all your construction and handyman needs, new buildings to renovations, furniture building, EV charger install, or even a TV mounted. You can call me, Corbett Storick. It'd be my pleasure to help you. You can find me on Instagram at CRS Contracting. WSDG, the Walter Storick Design Group, specialists in architectural and acoustical consulting. Check out WSDG.com. And Taylor Bragg, for all your artistic needs in all mediums. You can find her on Instagram at brag_about_art. That's brag, BRGG, with 2 G's. She's the fantastic artist behind the Orange Hammer logo, and she did my fantastic table painting of my podcasting table. Okay, perfect. Well, this is awesome for me because you're the first podcast guest I've had who's reached out to me who wanted to be a guest on my podcast. So that's super exciting for me because everyone else I've had to like find them, or it's been like a friend of a friend, or down the network line we go. So welcome. This is awesome. How are you doing today?
Good. Actually, I was listening to your podcast this morning with Sarah Huffman.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I was like, you know what? I need to kind of double check with Corbett what he wants to talk about, because you all kind of talked about basically building a business with not much of a marketing strategy behind it. And that's kind of, where my like specialty lies. But it was really cool to see the intricacies of just using Facebook as far as what you all do. But sorry, long-winded way to say I'm doing great. I love.
Hey, this podcast has no real direction in terms of which way we can go and what we can talk about. So, thanks for being a listener and a fan. This is awesome. Sarah, we had a great podcast. We met, oddly enough, I think, actually on a dating app. I think possibly even like 5 or 6 years ago. I think like Bumble had like a platonic business section of their app. But yeah, like I've used her to do like several, dump related runs from her company. And, we've like gotten dinner a couple of times. She does this like big birthday thing that I've gone to. And then like next thing you know, she's like, oh, I have a rental property and, I need some work. And I was like, well, I happen to be that guy. So, I'm, redoing some tub for her, like giving her flooring quotes. She has like a bunch of rental properties in Raleigh, and it's just, you never really know. I don't know how people networked like this before, the ways of Facebook, but it's pretty amazing how nice Facebook is today for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I love it because CRS contracting is like your main like gig, correct?
Yeah, so I'm a licensed general contractor, and that's CRS Contracting. So that's the LLC. And then Dakota Field Properties is LLC that like my family and I have, where we renovate and rent out properties. And then the Orange Hammer Podcast doesn't have like a business or an LLC. It's just the Orange Hammer Podcast. Yeah. So, but yeah, I haven't done really any marketing, and that's your area of expertise.
Yeah. So mainly we focus on like all of your trades and contractor guys kind of having better digital marketing for them just because they don't have the time to invest in it, figure it out. So that's kind of where my specialty lies more is if you're in more of the home trades, home services fields, kind of how to grow and scale your business from like a digital aspects, kind of where I can help educate if that's something you feel like some of your listeners might be. Cause I know you kind of say like you're focusing on the trades and like the homeowners to speak to in this podcast. So it's kind of where I'd love to kind of see like, is that the best avenue for you? Is there something else to be beneficial to kind of chat about on this podcast?
Well, I think we can probably dip our toes into entirely what you do. I know that most of my tradesmen who I wish had more time on their hands don't advertise at all.
Yeah.
So if they started spending money on advertising and got more work, I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know where they'd fit it in. Um, Obviously, I guess that could be that's a great, excuse me, that's a great, problem to have. And of course, you could then have a conversation about expansion if that's like an avenue that you wanted to go down, individually in your avenue, in your life if you want to get bigger or whatever. So first of all, how did you jump into that? Like marketing is I don't want to say like a small field, but it is a field in itself. And then to limit to just, tradesman marketing, how'd you get all the way to that tier of wanting to market for a tradesman?
Yeah. So this is my ninth year with the company. And about 5 or 6 years ago, we realized that 50% of our clients were actually in the trades. We had partnered with Plumber Supply, which is a local distribution house for HVAC and plumbing and even fire protection. And so we kind of partnered with them, realized half of our clientele was already in this, and kind of stepped back and looked at it and realized that like the reason most of our clientele is trades is because most commonly homeowners are reactive buyers versus proactive buyers. So the roof is leaking, the toilet is leaking, my HVAC is not heating or cooling my home. I immediately go look up Google, find a company and kind of call them to come from here. So it's Google's the best place for these guys to get business. And that's where our specialty is focusing on them showing up in Google. And then secondly, kind of the half part I told you as well is these guys don't have time to do it. They're either busy in the field, like what you said, or they're trying to grow. So they're not in the field physically themselves. So they're kind of looking to partner with someone who understands what their needs are. So it's kind of a beautiful version of that. And I grew up in the trades. My dad's a pipe fitter. So I kind of understood the difference between like when he was doing well and he, brought good paychecks when he wasn't scheduled and he was at home and my mom was freaking out because he was not bringing money in because he wasn't scheduled for jobs. So kind of a nice balance of we're really focused more on like local family businesses just because at least here in Louisville, a lot of them are getting bought up by bigger companies. And I personally hate that. So that's kind of where it would be nice to help these guys do better and they can kind of keep it generational, kind of in a sense, passing it down as much as possible. Cause that's what it was originally built off of was these small companies that have just been here for years versus, there's like two huge guys in our city that I will not name, but yeah,
Yeah. We're trying to
they
keep
do.
it positive. Yeah.
Yeah, they do like 1.2 million in marketing, but it's just because they're buying everybody out and they can afford it, but they're the ones spending money. And then they kind of can keep doing it, affording it. So
Yeah, it's an interesting balance because like I think I talked about it on a podcast that isn't like live yet, but will come out in a couple of weeks. The concept of the free estimate that like it's a weird balance that like yeah today that's kind of like a given for a large company, but it's not really a free estimate. Like that large company has a massive overhead, which includes that dude who went out and gave that estimate. He got paid, and that gas has insurance and truck, and you developed a marketing strategy for that company. So all of that trickles down somewhere when somebody's hiring them. So it's like, well, is it really a free estimate, or are they just $1,000 across the board more expensive? Like their work might be quality, don't get me wrong, and there's probably at least 3 or 4 companies coming to your head. There's at least 2 coming to my head right off the cusp of local people who like I see their advertisements and I'm like, I know that they would do it, but I know for a fact that I can get the same work for $1,500 less from someone who has no advertising and is two dudes in three vans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like that they buy the shingles from the same supplier. So at some point, it's like, but to your point, when a homeowner has a roof leaking at 7 p.m. the day before Thanksgiving, they don't really care about, well, I can't speak for everybody, but they care less, in my opinion, in that moment about saving $1,500 and more about getting the number one person who comes up on Google who will show up with 5 out of 5-star reviews. And they know that like they're going to get the heat back on. They're going to get the roof fixed, like whatever. Yeah. So, that's an interesting balance. Cause like, my plumber has no advertising, Tommy, great public. I could shout him out all day, every day. He has no plumbing. He has no plumbing. Sorry. He has no marketing, but he has no time.
Yeah.
He's swamped. Every time I call him for something, he's like, man, I am under a house. I have 3 more water heaters to replace today. I'll be lucky if I make my darts team. Like that's his whole life. But at the same time, every time I'm like, why don't you take a day off? He's like, oh, I love money. I gotta, I want to go on this vacation. I gotta go see the Yankees in spring training. I'm like, hey, you're happy. I'm happy for you. Whatever. But so I guess that kind of leads into me wanting to ask you, what would you say to somebody like Tom? I mean, is he even worth trying to convince to market, or do you just kind of say, maybe you're not the clientele, you're happy, you're busy, you don't look like you want to hire another person and buy a van and get workers' comp and all that stuff and go on to the next guy? Or do you have like a pitch for somebody like that?
What I usually say in those circumstances is when you're one guy in a truck, it's hard. You're already busy. There's no way you can sometimes pull that time back to be just an owner and focus on the business versus working in the business. So usually kind of what I tell most of those guys in that situation, I'm probably not the best step for you at that point.
Right.
And usually what would be the right step for you is something to help streamline what you're doing with your time. I mean, because at that point, marketing is not the issue. You have the leads. You're just trying to find the time to service the leads. And so that's kind of where it's really more of a step back position. Like, are you ready to hire more people? Do you want to keep this just you and just your LLC so you can control all the quality? And if that's the way, then that's kind of where, if you want to stay just a single entrepreneur, then what I would suggest is just find some things to help streamline what you do to help drive continual repeat business from repeat clients. And you have such a good brand that you don't need to spend money on anything else. So what I tell those guys is, at the least amount of things you can do, claim your Google business profile, showcase that on there. I mean, I can see yours right now. So you got 6 reviews, you're a 5-star. The reason I would tell those guys to have, exactly. The reason I'll tell those guys to have this
all
is
6 of those reviews are my other aliases. No, I'm just kidding.
They were all paid.
Yeah, I paid all of them so much money. No.
Yeah, $50 a piece. Yeah. No, and so that's kind of where, like, if you think about it, if I was referred to you, which that plumber may be, he depends only on referrals and that's how he grows his business. Well, if you think about it, maybe someone has a bigger project and they're like, okay, like, I trust your guy, but I'd like to do some more research, which we have at our fingertips with Google and the computer and internet in front of us. Is maybe I would type that in real quick. What's it? Tom's Plumbing. And I would see him pop up and I would say, okay, 6 reviews, 5-star. Okay. Now I would actually call him. And that's kind of where I'm telling these guys of, like, if you could have just one place and Google My Business is free. All you need is a Gmail and that's free. Go in there, claim it, and ask your clients to leave a review there for you, because that GMB could pull all the business you need on top of your repeat clients to do what you need. You don't maybe need a fancy website. You don't need to have all the social media profiles. Like, you don't need to do the whole shebang if you're not going to plan on growing too much further. You just want to streamline. And what I would say, getting a better and higher quality client reaching out to you. And high quality clients want to see that your quality, no matter the size. And I think it's kind of what you're referring to before is, like, yes, if it's the day before Thanksgiving, I'm looking for time and I know budget's out the window. However, most homeowners know that they have a little bit of time to look at something like, okay, wow, I see, we just had a big storm. So like, I see there's a leak on here. There's no rain in the next 48 hours. So I have a few hours to do a search, look to see who's near me, who has good reviews, and call people from there. It's kind of like the balance of the two. If you're that one man band, you probably don't want those people who like literally need to get you in and out immediately. So you don't have to spend money on ads. Like you don't need to be there on that aspect of it. This could be more of like you're a salesperson, so like, yes, still have a Facebook page, like still have these things if you can, but you can depend more on these other assets like your Google My Business to kind of help pull that weight of showing how good you are, showing the quality work you do without you having to spend tons of time on showcasing all your projects and putting all those pamphlets together. That's kind of the balance of it. And what I joke about as well with all my tech guys is I do not expect my plumber, my roofer, my fencer, my paver to have a really good social media presence ever. Like that's not something I would bank on you doing.
That's not what you pay them for. Yeah.
Yeah. And if he's really good at Facebook, I'm kind of scared he's not going to be good at fixing pipes. I mean, like, let's be honest. We kind of segment like, hey, this is person expert at this area, maybe not expert over here. So like, that's kind of where you just have to think, who's your clientele? Where are they coming from? And that's why I tell any guy, like as small as you are, where your clients coming in from now and where or even your quality clients coming from. And once you figure out those avenues, just make sure you're streamlining how that avenue is coming in and you're making it as easy for you. So if well, I get all referrals, they probably still type you into Google. They see what they're hearing about you, what's being said. And when they see 5 stars, they'll go, okay, Susan's referral to Tom, I'll go ahead and call Tom now. Like, and that's just kind of the few things you can kind of piece together. So if Kathy, who's always referring Tom, is bringing all Tom's business in, well, not everybody's going to trust Kathy. And not to say Kathy's a bad person, but we all, again, just want to do our own research. So that's kind of where just do the simplistic of things that you can. Because one thing, I'm sure maybe you think about this, but why not think of growing the business enough to sell it?
I actually have never thought about that. But now that you've said that, I would love to do that and just podcast full time.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, like I know a lot of people will say this in a public forum, but I actually do really love what I do. Like it's always something new. Even today, though, there are incredible frustrations that I would love to never have to deal with, like my gutter guy simply not showing up and not calling and just like leaving me hanging for an hour, to the point where I was like, all right, I'm just going to call a separate gutter guy, which is like, for me though, I just go into my phone, and as a general contractor, I have 6 gutter guys. So that's my Google, not everybody has that like network of people being in my industry, or I guess I should say our industry, since you market exclusively to like, my kind of niche clientele. I had a website a while ago, and I think it literally got 0 clicks. And I was working and realizing that everything was coming full word of mouth. Yeah. It was all like, a lot of it, ironically, we mentioned him, but a lot of it from my plumber, because he'll get the emergency call for something plumbing related, and they'll be like, while you're here, I was thinking about redoing the whole bathroom. And he'll be like, well, you should call my boy Corbett, who's a licensed contractor and redoes bathrooms. Mm-hmm. And then when I hear from them, they never, at most, they're like, do you have pictures? And I'm like, just go on my Instagram or my Facebook. Like there's basically, that's what it's for. It's a picture catalog that's free. And unless they're like ancient and don't use Facebook or Instagram, I don't know what to tell them.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of, again, you want to have those platforms. Like, I mean, it's kind of where what I think about at the end of the day is, if you could go ahead and steal all of these entities that will ever mention your name, so therefore, if anyone looks you up, they can only see what you want them to see. That's why I would suggest getting it, so like, yes, although sometimes for like your plumber, Facebook and Instagram might do shit for them, like absolutely nothing. Like it is a huge, maybe waste of their time other than showing they're alive if they do just normal repair. Now, I've seen some grading work you do, so I mean, that's kind of where, yes, you need to showcase what this looks like because it's a big project from start to finish. Plumbing, HVAC, might not need to show that as much, but what I kind of tell them, like, we want to see you're alive and you're well. So if you can at least post once a month, like at the bare minimum, like that's enough. Again, as I don't expect my plumber to have amazing social media, but I do just want to know they're alive and there's some place I can get that validation that they are alive. So like, if you're not going to post on Facebook, then at least make sure people are leaving you reviews on your Google business, because then I can see, oh, you just got a review last week for 5 stars. he must be killing it. He must be
Yeah.
a really busy plumber because he doesn't have anything else. And that's kind of
Yeah.
where all that feedback goes with it. And the reason I was mentioning selling the business is because, again, most trades I'm talking to, it's a family-owned business. And unfortunately, sometimes children don't want to take it over. They have no passion for roofing. They,
Or they
you
don't
know,
have kids.
yes, or they don't have kids. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's kind of where you're just kind of stuck in that aspect of it. And when it comes to when you're looking at the business valuation, some of it is based off what is your clientele? How big is your book of business? And so that's kind of where I can talk to guys, even if they think they're going to sell in 5 years. If they're trying to look into marketing and grow so they can scale it, still talk to me so I can help you figure out how to grow it. Because if we have a bigger book of business, then you can sell this for even more because now you have a bigger repeat clientele for someone who buys that business to actually reach out to afterwards. I
Yeah.
mean, the easiest
No,
example.
that does make a lot of sense. Maybe we should have a chat off air about this because
Yeah.
actually I think this, I've never thought that I had like a shortage of work. But I am thinking like, not that I'm trying to like get out of contracting and sell my business tomorrow, but it would be, cool to at least have that option, or at least, have 5 months of work booked out instead of 2.
Yeah.
So, that's definitely, it just makes a lot of sense the way that you put it like that. And so do you like, is it really just, I think you mentioned it earlier, is it really just primarily about Google? Like that's where most people are trying to find something.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
given there's a lot of entities that run these research surveys online, but I mean, they're still telling us it's up to the 90s. People are immediately going to their phone and going straight to, if you're on iPhone, Safari, and you're typing in Google. Like, I mean, Google is the set browser unless you physically go in and change your settings to make it Bing or DuckDuckGo, So, I mean, like, it has just a huge market share. So that's where if you're going to spend your time, the little bit of it that you have, I would rather you spend it on where the market is and where they're going to be looking for you. I mean, like Bing, Yahoo, none of these guys have really caught up to Google business profiles. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Google is just ahead of the curve when it comes to, and their algorithm feeds these other guys. So it's always a step ahead. So that's why I tell people like, we should still focus on Google, because if we make changes based on what they're doing, then all their search engines will actually fall in line, because they're all just going to play the catch up game with what's working over here is going to work over there with it. So, I mean, I hope that it kind of helps answer that question on its side.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does make a lot of sense. I mean, I, maybe not in my specific trade because I have the people already, but I have to research stuff, and it's usually it is on an iPhone, in fact, and it is in Safari, and it is set to Google. And now that I think about it, that is, in fact, I don't even do that. I just go right to Google Maps. Somehow seems to be quicker. I type what I need into Google Maps, and then when I find it, it has the website button. So it's like, but still just Google.
Yeah, it's still just Google, and you just went to the Google Maps app, but it was their Google business profile that's pulling into Google Maps. And so you're not just seeing where they're located, you're also getting to see their phone number, their address, and their reviews. Like, you're getting to see the whole shebang. So it's kind of like a mini Facebook page within Google. And that's kind of why I tell guys, like, if you can manage Facebook, you can manage your Google business profile, and there's no reason you shouldn't have it.
I guess I got to add some pictures on my Google business profile then.
Yeah, I see just a few. So Corbett, I don't want to yell at you. I could give you an audit right now and say you're on the right track, but
hey, maybe I'll just hire you to do this for me.
Yeah. And something else I tell people. So for a quick example, my fiance and I were looking at different businesses. We're kind of interested in potentially buying one. There is a painting business that's for sale. And unfortunately, the guy got too busy, just wanted to retire, and closed it at the beginning of the year. And so he's still trying to sell it for a little bit of something. And so I'm asking, what are we buying exactly? The business is closed. There's no cash flow. I'm confused on this, but the broker was saying, well, you get the business name, you get the website, you get the Google business. And so I looked at it, the Google business profile, it's a 4.9 and had 60 reviews. And I was like, okay, that's great. Like, that's actually something very beneficial, and then like some of my follow-up questions are, okay, well, did he create a client database? Like, when we take this over, do we get all of the names, emails, phone numbers, and addresses of past clients? And that was one thing. She's like, I think he's taken those records. And the minute they said that, I was like, this is a no-go. Like,
so you're not paying for anything. Yeah.
What am I buying at that point?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where I'm bitching to everybody, and I'm complaining to do these little things, because if you do want to sell it to make a profit at the end of it, which there are people, as more people are retiring, I know there's less coming into the workforce, there's still people who want the American dream, to own a business, to do well and be successful with it. And so that's kind of where people like me who are millennial, like we're a little bit more tech savvy coming into this. I know I want your client base to reach out to continue and to grow that cash flow. So if you've not done that due diligence for yourself to keep those people, then you're not going to sell that for even more money, because there's nothing for us to really tangibly take to know, okay, they're already doing this much in cash flow. If I reach out to everybody, do a few extra marketing campaigns, I bet I could increase it by 25, 30% within 6 months, but if that's not there, you're losing the buyer. And you're also kind of sticking yourself in a really dark hole, in a sense of, you might feel like your business isn't valued by someone when really it is. You did a great job. You built it up. You have a great reputation. You just did not do the systemized things to pass that to the next person where it's most beneficial for you. And the reason I'm telling you to keep those names is, if you get repeat business, if you're all word of mouth, why aren't you staying in touch with those guys? Little simple things like that. It's kind of where you can fight me on all things marketing. I can give you an idea to do anything, whether it's online or wherever else, but it's all those little things that feed into it. And that's kind of why we call it a digital strategy, is because it's all things you can save. And then you can streamline these and repurpose them later. So as I mentioned, if you actually did collect all of those email addresses, why not have an email blast out for spring? Because people are looking to renovate their home. So why not, Corbett, send out a mass email saying that you're doing, kitchen and bath consultations.
People delete those immediately.
Not if you give a good resource, Corbett. If you're just saying me,
I've
no one gives a shit about you.
From one of my people where I'm like, yeah, I needed this email to remind me. And I'm always like, man, how do I unsubscribe from this?
Yeah, well, that's the problem. No one does good stuff. So Tom's Plumbing, if he was going to do a marketing campaign, what I would not delete is if he sent out an email the night or the week of a frost freeze, warning, little shit like that. You don't realize, oh, damn, thank you, Tom. I forgot to actually turn off my main water line and open my hoses up. Oh, thanks. And now if I forgot to do it and I missed the email that day and I go back damn it, Tom's Plumbing told me this. Well, I guess I should call Tom's Plumbing and tell him I didn't do it, and you need to come out here and fix my broken pipes that I, busted. Given not all marketing's great, but if you actually give them something they actually freaking care about, they're not going to unsubscribe. But 9 out of 10 people don't give a shit about their clients enough to help them, give them something. It's all about you within the day. So it's kind of where it is a fine line. But if you're giving them something, they're beneficial. They're so happy you're giving them something to benefit. That term giver's gain, that's the kind of concept we're going after, is if, hey, we can help answer easy and good questions you're just looking for the answer to. Well, maybe they're more likely to build that brand and that trust in you because you're the one giving them that answer. I mean, that's what's called inbound marketing. That's the definition of it. They ask, you answer. What question do your clients have? You are posting this out there. So A, it could get found, but B, you're answering their question. And you probably do very big jobs. And that's kind of where I say the balance is. If you're a small guy doing small repair work.
You'd be surprised. I love mountain televisions. It's one of my favorite tiny handyman jobs. But I can definitely 100% relate to everything you just said, because basically, in a nutshell, what you just described is the reasons I started the podcast. It was a combination of how do I answer questions and just kind of generally educate homeowners, for the most part, who seem to be spending the most amount of money they're ever going to spend on arguably the most important material possession of anyone's life. And they don't know anything about what's behind the sheetrock or under the floor or in the attic. And it just baffles me, because it's I don't know about you, but it's really hard to make these giant sums of money to buy a home. I think I would want to know just a little bit about it. I look myself in the mirror and I'm saddened at my lack of car knowledge, and I drive a car every day, but I have home knowledge. So I always pride one or the other.
Yeah.
But so I completely relate to what you're saying, and it does make a lot of sense. So do you develop the strategy as well as implement it, or do you just develop the strategy and then kind of hand some, Tom's Plumbing a strategy and you're like, here you go, good luck? Or do you do it?
Yeah. So, I mean, my preference is I build you the strategy, and the strategy is us executing this entire bad boy for you, because as I said, you don't have any freaking time in the world to do this, which is why we're talking in the first place. But as I said, I grew up in the trade, so I understand not every business is there. I'm not the best fit for everybody. So what I always kind of suggest everybody do is I give a free strategy session, I give the free bathroom consultation, the remodel consultation, whatever it is. But I really enjoy doing that. So like I give free 30 minutes where if you come to me and you say, Brittany, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to afford you. There's probably no way in hell I ever really want to use you, but what things auditing I'm doing, could I do better? What should I focus on? Like, what are my priorities? What do I need to DIY? I still love having those conversations because to me, that's giver's gain. Like, let me help you do something better for yourself versus you spending money on someone who's just going to take it from you and run, or you not doing anything because you're just frustrated, confused, and you don't know where that next step is. And as I said, 3, like I came from a family business, so I want them to succeed. I want them to sell for the most if they're not going to be passed down to the next generation with it. So both. Obviously, I want the guys that are going to pay me to work with me, but I would rather stop a business from closing or going into debt by choosing something that's awful for them because I can talk to them and tell them, hey, like, here's the things I would change immediately. And the fun part is some of them have maybe a family member or a friend who does enjoy social SEO, Google, websites, reviews. Maybe there's someone in the family that enjoys that. Like, that's the person, like, then pass it along to them. Like, tell them these are the things we need to be focusing on consistently every single month. Can you do that? And like, even if you can hand off that little task to someone, like that's something to do. So yes, both sides of the coin. Cause it's fun. I mean, I know enough home stuff, but like you said, like, I don't know everything about my car. Like, and I don't know everything about everything just yet. I know enough to be dangerous when it comes to the trades. Everyone's always surprised that not many people know the difference between the simple thing as shingle and metal roofing.
Yeah.
So I mean, just there's those little nuances, like we really get that side of it. So it kind of helps us understand better, like what you're trying to achieve. And then just you focus on what you need to do and us focus on obviously the things you need to grow with it. Cause the other thing to think about on the main aspect of marketing is you might be super busy. If you're looking to scale and grow, something you need to consider is, are you doing the quality and the profitable jobs you need to be doing to be growing? I think that's kind of a caveat that most people don't think about is I'm busy, but when they actually look back at their book of business, maybe your plumber was only doing so many repair jobs, never a replacement, like never a big job where it would make a higher profit margin for him.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And that's kind of things like you have to think about that as well. Are you spinning your wheels, but not making money?
Yeah.
Marketing might be a problem for you as well. And that's kind of where like too many leads can always freak people out because you don't want to not be able to service. You don't want to not be able to help, but that's where think of who you can refer to. So if you're getting more leads and more high quality leads, okay, maybe the plumber that does bigger or better jobs, but you find an apprentice who is trying to start their own business to pass these really small repair jobs off to from new clients you don't want to touch. Like you can find a way to make yourself feel better because you can't help everybody. But I mean, the whole goal is to make yourself successful.
Yeah.
So
and
if you
then
can
also like knowing what you want to do and what you're the best at. Like I all the time pass work to other people because I'm just like, look, I could do a 7 out of 10 on that job, but you do an 11 out of 10 every day. And so here you go. You'll take this one and you're going to get a call one day for that job that, you'll be too busy and you'll throw it my way. And like, I scratch your back and you scratch my back. And that's why like, I work with the same guys over and over and over again. And that's, but I keep saying it like it's such a norm, but it's difficult for me to, I have to keep reminding myself, like, you're in the trade. It's not like, not everybody could just like literally go to their contacts and be like, oh, well, I have 4 lawn guys. Let's see who's busy. So, yeah. So for, I feel like most listeners might be homeowners, but for anybody who's in the trade and is, thinking about the marketing side of things, how can people find you and get in touch with you?
So 2 easy ways. First way is if you like what I have to say, but you want to kind of learn some more on your own because you just don't want to talk to me just yet, go to our website, onethingmarketing.net. There's a free ebook on there for trades. So it's basically the 9 digital strategies you need to utilize. And it is in very plain English, as simple as possible to tell you what to do. So if you kind of resonate with what I said about the Google business profile, we have steps in there on how to claim your profile, how to ask for reviews to kind of go on that side of it. But if what I said, you're like, holy hell, I do not want to do any of this myself, then on onethingmarketing.net, there's a button for a free strategy session. Like I mentioned earlier, if you are knowing you want to partner, if you know you just want to DIY, book it, tell me which path you want to go down, and I'll help you basically create that strategy on, if I were you in your shoes, knowing what I know, what I would do for your business. Because that's probably the easiest way to get in touch and kind of know the things that go on from there. And that's kind of, to your point, Corbett, is we niche down as well. And that's kind of something where if you can, you have that possibility to niche down for your business, it's actually been the best marketing thing for us possible. That's kind of, also what brings a lot of recognition, branding, authority to your area, is if you say, like, I'm the best at this. So with what you said, I have referral partners for anyone that reaches out to me that isn't in the trades. I had a logistics company reach out and I said, I'm sorry, you're not kind of in the field I'm looking to help right now. And I passed it to someone else who hopefully, again, will find someone, hey, this roofer contacted me. Would you like to talk to them? And I said, hell yeah, that's my man right there, is who I want to talk to. So yes, it's kind of vital to have those relationships with us. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like, I don't necessarily believe in karma, but it's definitely good karma to, like, instead of trying to just hold it all in and schedule for, 2.5 years out, you could just give the fence job to your best fence buddy and give that job to that guy and call your best painter. And it just, like, it seems to all come around. And, when you need a favor from those guys, then it's like, you're really glad you did that. Like when I call my plumber and I'm prepared to pay him for, something that is literally leaking in my kitchen, and he comes over not only with like parts he paid for, and he's just like, don't worry about it, you got any beer in the fridge? And I'm like, for you, sir, I do have a beer in the fridge.
Have anything.
Have anything, take the fridge. Like,
I have a whole 30 pack just for you,
literally, yeah. And so it's like, that networking is important, but also I just like the way you utilize those relationships, I think is a crucial and equal part to the networking. And I think that's just it's just well put, I think.
Something else, if you don't think about it, is since you have that network of referrals, think of how much more the homeowner appreciates you. Because like they said to Tom, hey, I'm looking to do this, and also we're looking to maybe do the bath. And he said, oh, here's Corbett. You need to call him and he will gladly talk you through the process of remodeling this. And I'm sure they're like, oh, well, thank you. I mean,
yeah.
It made
and
Tom
then they
a
get
win.
to see Tom again when they hire me, because he's my plumber. So like they forget about Tom a little bit because they're now working with me. And then all of a sudden we finish the drywall and it's time to put the toilet or whatever it is, and they're like, oh, Tom. Oh yeah. I'm like, yeah, why do you think he told you to call me? Because he's my guy,
This is how we knew he'd do a good job.
Exactly. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I physically do less work than I have been doing, because I'm now the holder of the subs. I'm the general contractor who has the 15 people it takes to do your small bathroom renovation. And people are listening like, did you just say 15 people, small bathroom? Yeah. That's how many freaking people it actually takes. Usually the drywall guy is different than the painter, different than the floorer, different than the
tiler,
different than the plumber, different than the electrician, different than the framer if there's framing, different than the trim carpenter, and along down we go. So like, a lot of people look at like, wait a minute, why does this cost 20% to you? Because that's what it costs for me to freaking know all these people and make sure they do a good job. But it's like, it's a laundry list of people that you need to, it takes an army, as they say, and construction is no different. Is it similar for you? Do you have a lot of people developing this strategy with you, or are you more of a one-woman show developing a strategy based on the knowledge you have?
I look like a one-woman show, but there are many people behind me that do all of the hard grunt work it takes to kind of help make a website rank. So we're a team locally of 6 here in Kentucky. We have quite a few freelancers to help us with a lot of data entry, because we have to pick where to pick our time too. So, looking through numbers, we have people to kind of help us with that, so we can just get the statistics we need to make decisions with, to continue building and working on the strategy. But what I tell everybody is, I'm kind of that first step you make with talking to a strategist. I'm very blunt. I mean, as I say, my daddy cusses like a sailor, and so do I, if it's not unrespectful to the person I'm talking to, because I just want to be very blunt and transparent with you. If what you're doing is not working, I'm going to tell you. Because in the day, if you keep doing it and you're like, that Brittany girl told me I shouldn't spend time on this. Maybe she was right. Like, I would rather give you the truth and kind of help you grow from there versus like, oh, yeah, this is great. It'll be great. And then nothing happens. Like that whole over promising, under delivering thing is really kind of a shit show in my industry and my kind of environment and how it works there. So our team, we're really focused on making sure that it's local companies that we're working with also. And they're as competitive as we're competitive because we stay, since we're niche, I can't work with every roofing company here in my city. I can only work with 2. So we're spread out all over the US and we're really competitive. So if someone owns this zone and that's their industry, like we're fighting tooth and nail to make sure those guys are the winning in that area, even if we've never visited it. Like I have clients in Salt Lake City. I would love to go. Never been, but all I know is like the minute I'm there, like I hope I see their trucks everywhere up and down the highway because they're my guys.
Trucks.
Yeah. Yes. Like if I don't see them, I'm going to call and be like, what the heck's going on, guys? Like, I know you got 30 leads yesterday. So why aren't these trucks out? That's really kind of what it comes down to. And I'm very sure that's just like the construction industry you're in. Like we all are very good at our specific things that we've honed in to be experts at. And we have to come together as a team to make it all happen. And so that's kind of where at the end of the day, like bringing that all together makes it work very well. Because there's all these little components again, that as a tradesperson, you do not have time, you do not want to have to figure out. So we'd rather kind of focus on all of that for you so you can focus on running the business and being as profitable as possible.
You and I are similar with that. We're both very, very blunt. And even though I don't do the free consultation that you do, I do charge like $100 to come out for an estimate, but it becomes a free estimate when you hire me because I take the $100 off at the end. I have found that absolutely nobody has any problem with this because they very much understand that I can't do a Zoom call. I have to come to your bathroom and physically measure it. And I have to call, between 1 and 4 other subcontractors and get them to produce a real number. I got to put all those numbers together. I got to go there. I got to drive there, drive back, gas, this, that, and the third. And like I said, it becomes a free estimate if you want to hire me. If I give you a quote and you thought a $10,000 job should cost 4, we're not going to meet in the middle there. We could talk at 8 and 10. We could have a conversation. So that $100 made you smarter and you didn't take the job. So either way, I don't really the complaints have never gone back to me. But I am a smaller, company in terms of size. Like I don't have 25 vans going around and just a dude doing free estimates all day.
Yeah.
But maybe after I hire you, we'll get there. And 8 months, right? Stay month guarantee, right? With you guys?
Yeah. That's exactly how it works. Well, what's funny too, as a homeowner, I would only assume that would not be a bad thing because if you are trying to qualify me, then I think that's always a good thing in the homeowner's mind, at least in mine, because if you're trying to do work to qualify me, like that means that you're trying to make sure I'm going to be a good client for you and a good fit for what you're trying to do. So therefore it's going to be successful versus every Joe Blow with the truck. That's like, yeah, sure. Let's come over for, a free consultation. Like my quote will blow out the others, because I'm so much cheaper. And then people think that's a good idea. And then they end up buying something that's not a great quality, but it fit the price bill versus everything else. So that's kind of one thing that, yes, I think that's a great idea. Like, and especially if time is more of your issue, like because you have enough leads, like, okay, so which one of these makes sense? Who are the serious buyers? If that's been a huge issue for you, then that's always a good thing. So like the construction company locally here that we work with, like their first introduction, if someone calls or leaves a form, is they set up a video call. Like the owner will sit down a video call. They want to FaceTime with you and you need to show them your kitchen. Cause it's like, this is basically without them having to drive out there, spend the time, the gas, everything else to charge for it. There to say, like, this might seem crazy to you, but we need to make sure you're a serious buyer because if I can see enough of the home, I can give you a ballpark quote. Kitchen's not going to cost less than $50K. And the homeowner at that point can either go, oh, I was not expecting that. Or, okay. Yeah, that's around the range we were assuming. And now from there, you can take the conversation to either go through it to actually, okay, well, next step would be us to come out there, measure design, put together, this entire thing for you after we get basically like the verbal yes from you, and then from there, we'll take the first deposit. Like you could definitely do that. I mean, it's just kind of where with mine, we thought about doing that. And then we realized most business owners were so scared to spend like even $200 on something they didn't think would work mainly because no one knows what the fuck I do in my industry. Like, I mean, we get it. Like, you're remodeling, it's changing. It's a complete visualization between you're tearing off the drywall down to the studs and you're rebuilding everything back up into my dream vision. It's easier for us and kind of easier to tangibly guess on what you're getting with this versus my industry. Like, you've been jaded by so many people by the time you talk to me. You don't want to pay any money until you hope that
No,
you're going to get something out of it.
it's very true. Yeah. I mean, I have a, I'm no genius by any means, but like I have a business degree and I took a lot of upper level marketing classes. So I was like, oh, a marketing person. I know I get it. Like this is not like speaking German. And it makes it a lot easier when you're a marketing person for the niche people like me who grew up in the construction world with a pipe fitting dad. I mean, that's like, we could talk galvanized and ungalvanized, and everybody listening is like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
But like, we would probably be entertained or at least be knowledgeable, or possibly both. So I don't know if you mentioned it like as a hypothetical or you are, but are you a homeowner currently?
Yes, I am.
So
Yep.
if and when you've had to do work, do you just kind of go through your incredible Rolodex of clients?
Yeah, and that's kind of, it's always the hard part. I do. And I'm very grateful to have the Rolodex that I do, but it makes it hard because when I'm trying to explain to a business like why you have to spend some money on marketing, it's because not every homeowner is like me. Like, I don't have a guy for plumbing, roofing, drywall. Like, I'm not your average homeowner who knows all these guys in the trades because I work with them and I'm constantly talking to them and I know who's good and I know who's not good.
Yeah, no. In fact, you are the abnormal by the farthest dimension. The mass majority, 99.9% of homeowners have no idea what's going on. They don't know one person in the trade. They drive to an office. They drive back to their home. It should just work. When something doesn't work, they have to call somebody. And that's 99.9% of the people. And I hate to say it, even most of the people who've like got a toolbox and claim that they really aren't. They can change a light bulb. And like, I'm not even trying to shit on anybody because I like needing to be there for that person and get, that's my job.
Job security.
Yeah, it's nice job security. But at the same time, like I have definitely looked at, a father of 3 who makes 4 times what I could even dream about making, who is literally paying me to change light bulbs because he doesn't have a tall enough ladder. And I'm in my head just like, I don't know if I should be here. Like, you should probably just have a ladder, bro. But at the same time, I will happily swap out these light bulbs and like hang this picture on a nail. Like it was, it's like, I don't really know if I should be getting called for this, but
when you're on your ladder or you're like, is this why I got my GC license?
At that point, I didn't have a license, so I was very happy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This was pre-license. The license is only 6 or 7 years old now or whatever. But yeah, when I first moved here, I was like doing any little odd job I could get. And yeah, I was definitely like, and my hourly rate was half what it is now. And I was happy to change light bulbs and hang up pictures and mount televisions. And now people are like, your hourly rate's way too much to mount a TV. I'm like, no. TV mounting is a fixed price. How big's your TV? Like, that's different.
Yeah.
Hourly is for baseboard installation. that's a different project.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was very beneficial for me because I've replaced everything in my home the 8-9 years I've been here now. So I mean, I've brand new water heater. The only thing I've not, knock on wood, is the roof. New HVAC in 2020, and like all those were, luckily I kind of had the knowledge to reach out to those people. But again, homeowners and business owners alike, like, you're not going to have a situation like me where I already know enough people. Most likely you would have a person asking for a referral or going straight out there on their phone and typing in plumber near me and go ahead and getting those guys out there. Cause that's kind of what I joke about. And homeowners would agree with this, I think, while they're listening, is we all have like a broad range of personalities we all fit into. We have those that just need it to be done now. I don't care details, just come here and fix it. Versus those who are a little bit scared to spend their money, or they've done this before, and they got taken advantage of, or they've never done this before. It's a first-time homeowner. They have no idea what the water heater does at all. For some weird reason, they can't put those two words together. And they're like, why is my sink cold? Your water heater's broken, my man. Like, that there's the kind of the range with it. So when you're dealing with that range, one end of the spectrum does not mean a higher quality versus the other. So knowledge of your consumer does not mean they're better or not than each other. But how much information they need will basically determine how much of your sales process you're going to have to complete to get that buyer on it. And so I tell everybody, like, if the more luxury or the bigger jobs, automatically assume this person is going to be at the, I need more details from you to pull the trigger on this purchase. If you're in foundation repair, then it's going to have to be a quicker, because again, there's probably an issue they're having to correct versus, I hate this kitchen, I hate this bathroom. Like, those are proactive. They're looking for this. And that's kind of where we talked as well. Like, the reactive versus the proactive homeowner. If you're in a reactive situation, you just need to have the things there that are going to sell you in the moment. So I have good reviews. I have maybe a few before and after pictures, things to get that reactive person saying, okay, looks good enough. I trust Shelly's referral to Tom to call Tom. Versus if you're going to do a big project, like, I mean, the big projects you're doing, like, yes, you're posting very often on Facebook to showcase all of your work and all the different projects you do. It gives you legitimacy in what you're doing. But yeah, I'd probably push you to, why not have a website with an actual like project completion? Like, if you're trying to do more bath and kitchen because that's where the money is, then show me what those look like. If you're trying to do more grading and scaling, show me what those look like, an easy bite-sized chunk, so I can just click to see what is actually what I'm looking to get from you, versus, no offense, having to scroll through all these posts on your Facebook until I say, oh, there's a kitchen job they've done. Again, just the easy you can make it on the client. And I'm ever sure every homeowner's like, hell yes, please, because most trades don't have great websites. Like we said,
true. Most trades don't even have them.
Yes. And that's the thing. We don't expect them to be great marketers, but if you're a tradesperson and you want to grow the business and you want better clients, that's what they're looking for, to make sure that you are good. I mean, and again, there's a situation for everything. I mean, big projects, small projects.
The worst part for me is when I see like what could be a really nice website. For example, I don't have a specific one, but to use a trade as an example, electricians. I see these websites and they throw up this picture of like a stunning kitchen. And it's like, you did nothing in that kitchen. There's one light in the middle of that kitchen. And you're like, look what I can do. And then you get a call and they're like, what does it cost to do that kitchen? And you're like, I have no idea. I'm an electrician. You need a tile guy and a cabinet guy and a whatever and a whatever and a whatever. And I'm like, who'd you think was gonna call you when you post a picture of a $50,000 kitchen with like, Viking this and marble that and whatever. Like, to me, it's like, so that, I get that you've got to scroll through mine, but I definitely like to try to show pictures like, hey, this is a framed wall. I framed that wall. Mm-hmm. This is the wall with sheetrock. This is the wall finished. Like,
yes. And that's kind of where, again, anything with marketing is always a grain of salt. I mean, you could give me a situation where that would prove me wrong on, hey, this worked for that person. But like you said, it kind of comes down to those basic things that like you want and every homeowner wants, just because it's that ease of access. And I mean, as you mentioned earlier, most homeowners don't know how to take care of their home. And we never got training on it. That's not something they teach in school. They don't really teach you to balance your checkbook either, unfortunately, which is why we're all probably in debt.
Teach that in school, because they're still trying to sell this, like they're weirdly still trying to sell the whole white picket fence American dream thing. But like, what behind that picket fence is a home, and in that home there's your entire life worth of maintenance, like, and the different types of homes and different types of maintenances and different types of systems inside that home. And I mean, it's like, it's insane that there isn't like every home should come like a binder and like, here, open up your calendar and set these reminders, like clean your water heater every year, clean your air filter every 6 months, change the filter every month, like, and the list goes on and on and on. And in fact, I've been planning a podcast one week when I don't have a guest, where I'm just going to go over all this stuff with me solo and just be like, hey, restock your windows every 6 years, like check them, or you at least look at them, like go look, or if it's peeling, peel it off and recaulk it. Like, it's not going to magically get better. Like, that's where the ants are coming from. But anyway, I have this ranting muscle. Sometimes
I think a beginner's homeowner book, we could go into business for this, Corbett. We could probably put this together easily.
Homeowner 101 for dummies. It probably exists. Homeowner for dummies probably is already out there.
Yeah.
No.
But do the kids today, do they buy those for dummy books anymore? Are they still popular?
No, we got to turn into a YouTube channel. Well, I have an Orange Hammer YouTube channel that just has my podcasts on it. So we could make that video.
We'll do a little series. We'll do like monthly, yearly, biannually thing. Yeah, we'll strategize this.
Okay. Business idea. Okay, cool. I like it. Well, on that awesome note, let's wrap this up with just one more time. Oh no, actually, if you have a second, do you have a couple more minutes?
Yeah.
Do you do any sort of like connection or communication with the people that you're trying to reach? And what I mean is, like, you're working with niche general contractors, subs, roofers, whatever, to try to get their product into the eyes, ears, world of John and Jane Joe homeowner. Do you guys have anything like on your website? Like, if a homeowner found your website, do you have like, hey, these are a list of our trusted people that we refer, or you're a homeowner, click our homeowner 101 guide. Like, just out of curiosity, do you guys do anything with that, or you're too niche and now don't have enough time?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we don't, just because many homeowners aren't going to, we're trying to rank for marketing type of keywords. So most homeowners won't type in like roofing marketing, plumbing marketing type of keywords. But on the aspect of what you just said, what we are putting together more so for our clients is we're going to have like a vendor dashboard. So if you're coming into this and you say, Brittany, all right, I need a scale. I'm going to get some fucking trucks. I'm going to go through all of these things and grow the business. Like, what do I need to do? Like, what would you suggest as like a CRM system or call tracking? Like anything we think they'd be beneficial. I'm trying to find a good vendor for that. So like, here's a few suggested like project management or CRM systems. So if you're trying to go digital, get off paper, here's where you would put all of your clients' information in, like into the database, kind of make sure we're going a little more digital. If you're trying to look for a call tracking system, if you need a actual inbound call center to answer the phone for you because you don't have an office manager and you know that you're never going to answer the phone. And if you spend any money on marketing, or if you're trying to grow and you're busy working in the business, it'd probably be the best use of your money to pay someone else to answer the phone for you, qualify the clients. And if they do sound good, they can schedule them out for you, or, start the process for you to kind of book them from there. We're getting all of those resources together because that's kind of what, at the end of the day, like, that's what I care about the most is our clients, to make sure they get in front of whatever resources they need to kind of help grow their business with it. But that's kind of where what we always give them is the ideas of, what do you need to be telling the homeowner? Because it's you they're going to for this information before they ever go to us. Like, you wouldn't think going to a marketing agency to kind of see, hey, well, who's the best vendors? It would actually, I like the way you're thinking with it. They wouldn't help us as much versus like, I try to make sure all of my clients, like anything a client would ask, please, let's put it on the website. Let's put it on anywhere else. So like their questions are answered. So they're not asking you dumb stuff that you don't want to have to answer 18 times. They saw the answer. They know what your starting ranges look like. They know what the process timeline is. When they call you, they're somewhat more qualified. So it kind of gets to if you need to charge them or not, potentially, to have that first consultation, because maybe they have or have not read through the rest of your stuff and kind of seen your work, seen your process, and kind of seeing things through there. But I might steal that idea from you, Corbett. If I think someone might actually use it, I'd steal it from you. But yes, on the client side, we're definitely doing that, just because it's the more benefit I can give you, the better. Again, I'm with Tom's Plumbing, I'm going to give him as much brainstorming as possible, but it's still his business at the end of the day. So it's his job to take advantage of these things, and do his own research. But yes, if I can help point someone in the right place to start taking the next step, that's kind of the end goal.
I get it for sure. Like, yes, it's totally Tom's business and it's his life beyond his business. But at the same time, like, I love using him and I know he does great work. So it's his business and his life. But on the other side of that coin, on the other side of the extremely fine line, one team, one dream here, because I can't build a house without a plumber. And if I did, we'd be in the 1830s and no one would buy it. And so like, it's definitely like, it's not my place, to like implement these things for him, but it could be my place to casually over the next beer be like, hey man, you ever thought about scaling up and taking on an apprentice and, getting a truck that says Tom's Plumbing, and like, you just be the guy with the license and the paperwork, and you walk around 3 times at various points in the job and just kind of eye it and make sure your boys are doing it correct. And like, I know he's getting old, so his body will fail before his brain says he can't do it anymore, unfortunately, because this particular Tom doesn't take care of himself, physically. But again, his life. That's not, I want him to be here because he's a friend and I want him to be happy and healthy and all that. But, is your hardest client to try to reel in somebody who's already been taken advantage by another marketing person? Because that's my hardest client. You mentioned it, like you mentioned like just it, our industry is alike because a lot of people are like, I don't really need that. That's kind of a scam. What am I paying them for? And for me, I have none of this reputation because, oddly enough, believe it or not, kind of an honest human. But my freaking industry, like, if you talk to a lot of people, contractors are crooks. End of story. You never hear, you've never gone out to dinner and overheard this story. Oh yeah, I got my kitchen redone. It was on time. It was
on budget.
And it was great. And yeah, how are the kids? Great, conversation over. You've never heard that. You've always been at a bar and you've overheard this conversation. This fucking dude charged 30 grand more and it took 6 extra months, and then he stole this and he stole that, or I gave a deposit I never heard from again, or whatever the story may be. And I have in fact gotten calls from clients who have been robbed. Mm-hmm. And I literally have been like, you're not going to trust me.
Yeah.
This isn't going to work. Like,
yeah.
I just asked you what your budget is and you don't want to tell me because you're afraid that your budget will mean that I'm just going to tell you that's what the job costs because I want every cent. Like, I get that you got screwed over, but some people are still trustworthy. And like, I knew after 3 meetings, and this was before the $100 a meeting thing. So I wasted a lot of time and actually brought subs with me, meeting 2 and meeting 3. And it was just like, I was like, I hate to tell you, but all that work the guy who robbed you did, we got to rip that out. That's all done wrong. Like, all that tile's not spaced correctly. There's no spacers. Like, I can't put my name on the rest of it. Like, and whatever the examples may have been. And I didn't.
And I'm sure some of it's not to code.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there was a load bearing wall that was totally not holding up anything. I was like, we got to rip this out. Like, this is just going to fall down. And, this, that, and the third. But I did not take that job. And Tommy, the plumber, wanted that job because it was, for him, it would have been a piece of cake because the structural stuff doesn't affect the plumbing. He's like, well, the toilet's going there, right? I was like, yeah, it is. He's like, well, $500 toilets. I was like, okay, cool. But everything else, it would have been like a $65,000, entire home renovation. And they just had no like trust when it wasn't going to be broken down by like every box of screws itemized list. And I was like, I could tell you this right now, lady, you probably can't find a contractor who could give you that kind of itemized list. And also at the same time, I don't know if you want that contractor. Like, I'm not trying to shit on anybody who's listening who gives a bid with an itemized whatever, but I am shitting on every client who asks for it. Like, we are so busy. You have no idea what it takes to actually give that budget. So when we tell you the bathroom is $2,300 turnkey with a little paragraph of where we start and where we're going to end and everything that's covered, and that's not like enough information, text us the few questions and we'll clarify the few questions. That's fine. But when you're like, oh, could you please send me that with an itemized breakdown of like what the tile will cost and what this will cost and that will cost, and like the box of screws for the sheetrocker and like all this stuff, like, no is the answer. Like, no. Do you want to pay me $700 just to do that? Because that's like hours of work.
Yeah.
Like,
well, you're having to ask all of your subs to itemize so you can put it together. And that's kind of the part people don't realize is it's not just, there's, again, so many steps. And that's why they're reaching out as a homeowner. They don't know all the steps that it takes and the waterproofing and everything else that's kind of needed to make sure that that bathroom is fully functioning at the end of it. So
you're right. Especially bathroom and waterproofing. I'll give you a funny example. They're actually the reason I started the podcast, and I've actually had the husband on. This guy, Glenn, and his wife, I can't remember her name at the moment.
Not Karen, right?
I think it's Katie. No, Karen. Everybody bad is a Karen. No, they're not that bad. They're not
Okay.
like that kind of bad.
I don't know if it was a bad story turned good or
No, no,
where
no.
you're going
It's
with it.
all a great story, but it's
Okay.
just like 3 separate times pre-$100 visit, mind you. I came to look at the same bathroom, and they kept being like just like baffled that this quick 30-second Instagram reel of like, and it's done. They were like, why can't we just rip out a tub and slide in a new tub? And I was like, we totally can for 5-ish grand. They were like, what? Why not? Why isn't it $800? And I was like, well, let's start with the tub's $800.
If it's
let's start right there.
If that's what you pick.
Yeah, if based on the tub you haven't picked yet.
Yes.
And then it's at least $400 for the plumbing, because they're never in the same spot. The plumbing and the wall, it's always going to be off 3 inches, 8 inches, either way. And then, 3 to 5-ish G's to demo all the tile and put up all new tile. I don't know what kind of tile you're going to pick. And they're like, wait, we don't want to take the tile down. And I was just sitting there. I was sitting there like they just said they wanted a new tub, right? Like what?
They think you just put it on top of it like Rebath does?
No, they think that you can just keep the tile flawless and just pull out a tub and put in a new tub. And I'm like,
yeah, that's how it works.
I was like, do you get how like waterproofing works and like tile and backer board and like the lip of the tub and layers of rolled on pink waterproofing and the seams and the caulking and the tape in the corners and the bottom corner. I was like, in my head, I know this. So I just assumed that they knew this.
Yeah.
And they, of course, were like, nope, had no idea. We don't want to rip down the tile. And I was like, 0 options. I can't help you. I was like, I was like, I think the third time I was like, maybe we could cut the top foot of tile around the tub. But then,
which is only going to add on to labor. Just
I was like, but then it was like, there's no way we can match this tile from 20 years ago. If we could, it wouldn't be the same shade. Like sun has shaded it differently. I was like,
new border across the bottom.
You want a decorative color border? And I'm like, no, that'll be ugly. I was like, I know it'll be hideous, but I'm trying to do what you want. And after this third time where they again were just like, no, we don't have the time or the money. I was like, okay, how do homeowners not understand? Like, if you didn't know that the tub lip and waterproof and all that, where do you think the water goes when it hits your wall?
Yeah.
Like it'd be in your kitchen underneath on the first floor of this particular home. So they're literally 100% responsible for me being like, how do I educate people this standard stuff that contractors know that the people who pay us simply don't know? Because if you don't know it, you do think it's too expensive because it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And that's kind of to go back to answer your question, who's the hardest client? I mean, like trust is definitely one where like my feeling on this is as the salesperson, as the owner of the company, as you're trying to sell the client, it is your job to educate them. And you should just go into all these meetings thinking that people have a 5th grade education level, because if you assume more than that, you're probably going to dig yourself into something saying, okay, yeah, bathroom probably about 5K. And they're immediately like pushed off. They don't like it.
There's a fine line of being like respectful that I know I personally, as a New Yorker, moved to the South. I have, I've been here 7 years, so I've softened. But like 7 years ago, I was like, I was being told like, why are you being so rude? And I'm like, rude? I'm literally trying to give you like facts about your home. And they're like, well, you're just like way too aggressive. We're used to like some good old boy country, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, if I think the job's going to take 2 weeks, it's going to take a week and a half. I'm not some good old boy who's going to pad this for 6 weeks. Like, I don't understand that work ethic, that mindset, So that took me a while. I remember the first GCs who hired me when I was just the grunt and I didn't have a license. They were like, you work too fast. And I was like, that's not a thing. Work too fast. Like you need the 10 doorknobs put in the 10 doors. It's done. And they were like, well, I thought it would take you 4 hours. I was like, well, it took 45 minutes. do you have anything else for me to do, or I'll leave? Like, you just pay me for the 45 minutes. Like, I don't understand work too fast. That's not a thing. So there's definitely a fine line of like, you're right though, of you got to talk to him like a fifth-year-old or fifth grader, but also like you can't patronize and insult.
Yeah. And when I come to that, the reason I'm saying that fifth grade level is because, like you said, they don't know all the detail of what goes into it. And yeah, most homeowners have never done a demo their entire lives. They didn't grow up with backgrounds like us, where, yeah, like my dad, I had those damn overalls with the little hammer hoop, and I always had a little mini hammer every time I would follow him to projects because I thought that was a cool thing to do. So yes, like not everyone has the knowledge.
Thing to do.
It's still a cool thing to do.
It's still a cool thing to do. Yeah. My dad's an architect, so well, actually, I was about to say he didn't build anything, but that's not true. We built a lot of stuff with our own hands, but he more designed professionally. Yeah. He's an architect, but that led to, hey, Corb, you want to be my driver? I got to go into the city and look at this like $5 million studio design that's framing. And I'm like, no, but I have nothing better to do. So sure. So I would like be his driver and just stand there. And like, admittedly, due to my age and just being a defiant teen, I guess, which we all are, a lot of it was lost on me. But, you know, I did exactly that same thing, you know, a year ago. They've kind of relocated to the South, closer to family and whatever. And he was like, oh, I got a job in Atlanta. It's a 5-hour drive. I was like, sounds like an excuse for Brave game. And he went, I already have those tickets. So do you want to come? Yes, sure. Absolutely. Yeah. And so like all of a sudden I'm his assistant. I'm like drawing and measuring a studio that he's like basically. So
it wasn't wasted. It wasn't wasted
at all. It was just, there's, you know, I guess it's like there's a timing aspect as well. Yeah. And it just like, it depends on, like you said, not everybody grew up with it. I grew up around it. So at least I might say I don't 100% know how to read blueprints, but it's a lie. I totally could read blueprints. Like I saw them as a child and didn't even know what I was looking at. And in fact, I know exactly what I was looking at. It's just bigger and more complicated versions. But you know, it's cool growing up in that world. And I mean, look at us. We grew up in that world or that world adjacent, and here we are in that world or that world adjacent still. That's I doubt a coincidence, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like you have passions. That's kind of what draws you to do what you do with it. And that's kind of like stepping back, that's kind of where, like when I was bitching about the whole education thing, if you're good at what you do, there's no reason that you can't be in that bathroom with them and you say, okay, rough estimate right now about $5,000 for switching out this tub, and they freak out and they're in that moment like, what the fuck, like kick this guy out, like we could get this for less than $1,000, you know. And at that point, like, it is your job if you want the job. Not every client's a good fit, so let's go ahead and throw that out into the ballpark of not everybody is someone you want to work with.
That is a good point that should be really said, is like, there is a moment where it's like you don't have to work that hard for a client. Like that client could just be impossible, and like bite that loss, move on to the next one. That person's just going to give them a hard time. And like, even if you get that job, you're just going to have a headache for the whole job and argue about the bill at the end. And it's like, that is a cost that does not show up on people's balance sheets. And it should, because time and aggravation and just like general, the asshole effect of your client, like that's
it trickles down. I mean, if it ruins your mood for the day, that's a whole 8 hours they just fucked up for you, in my opinion. Like,
ruins your mood with your home life, and they had nothing to do with that. Like, my girlfriends had to check me and be like, "Yo,
leave that at the door,
because you're awful right now." And all I did was come in the house. And I'm like, you know what? In the beginning of our relationship, I was like, I'd get mad at her for some reason. And now, we're like more than a year in, and I've like worked on it, and I'm like, I think I need to just watch TV for an hour in silence. And then and she'd be like, cool, I'm here.
Yeah. Just go to your cave.
And that's I'm like, cool.
Go to your cave, chill out.
An hour goes by, and I'm like, you won't believe what happened today. And she'll be like, tell me.
Jerry has like the bottle of wine and beer waiting. Like,
yes, exactly. Give me the juice. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, And that's kind of where, like, I hope everybody always has someone they can kind of divulge that bullshit that they deal with every day too. Because going back to, yes, like you have to check that client to make sure they're good for you. But like what I always joke about is if when you're in the moment standing in that bathroom, and I'll pretend I'm you in that situation, how I would do it for me, like you're standing in the bathroom, you tell them the price, they freak out. And at that moment, it's your job to see how and if you could work with them, because this is also your chance to fill them out by having, maybe this might be a 3-minute phrase of saying, I understand that sounds like a lot. Here's the steps we have to do to accomplish what you're looking for. A, then B, then C, then D, then we got to do D, then E, then F's come back to do G,
Yeah.
H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And you're going through the list and they go, oh, holy shit.
Yeah. And
I
that's
didn't realize
exactly what
that's
I
how.
did. Yeah.
Yes. And that's
Because
how you can.
also Glenn and Kate, like they were at this point, they're friends. Like I've hired Glenn, he makes my shirts. So
Nice.
like we have like a different rapport than just like, hi, I got your number from Tom and can you come look at this? Like that's a different interaction than Glenn, who will just text me and be like, hey man, thinking about buying a crappy IKEA bunk bed. Can you build me one for cheaper? And I'll be like, no, I can't. I'm
I can
a
build you a
better
sturdier
craftsman
one.
than that. You should definitely go to IKEA. Like, no, I talked him out of hiring me because I was like, even if I don't stain it and paint it, I was like, I got the lumber is this much. Like, I just can't compete.
Yeah.
Go buy the particle board from IKEA. It'll work for what you need. And then when you buy a home and you're ready to upgrade to something ballin', you call me and I'll build you a handmade one of a kind. Like I know my lane, you know. I've had in the past somebody like show me a cute little like Etsy thing, you know, like a coat hook, I remember. And I just straight up was like, there's no way that I could do that. Like that was stamped, mass produced in China. And then somebody painted that little thing on it. And now it's on Etsy for like 35 bucks. And I was like, it's going to be twice the price for me to just buy the material. And then I'm not going to make it for free. And they're just like, that's absurd. I'm like, no, it's not absurd. It's just the reality. Like you're buying
I can't
a
work
molded
as
piece of
cheap as the
plastic.
Chinese kid does. Okay.
It's not even a kid. It's a press. It's a. That's what I'm saying.
Well, it's
like
a kid needing to press.
stamped
Let's
out
be
of a
honest.
press, like out of plastic, and they want me to make it custom out of wood. And I'm like, we're just in different, like no judgment. Buy the thing with plastic if that's what you want. But like, if you want one of a kind made by hand stuff, that's me. I make custom furniture also for everybody who's listening. Everybody probably knows, but like
Shameless plug.
It's my own.
It's your podcast.
I mean,
Do what you
on.
want.
Yeah. All right. We're going to end with shameless plugs.
Yes, but you did hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Orange Hammer, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Hit me up on all of it. I'll answer your questions. Be a guest. Freaking, she found me on, what was it? Facebook? I think I got a random email from you. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I try to reach. I harass people. So.
Oh. And then plug yourself as well, please. Anybody who's a trade in this, if you're a tradesman and you think you could do better with your marketing, which you probably could, please give Brittany a shout out at fill in the blank.
onethingmarketing.net. And I'm sorry I did an awful job of introing myself, but I am our marketing director and strategist. So book a time with our free strategy session link and you will be contacted with me directly. We'll meet phone or video. I'll audit all your shit, tell you what the real stuff I'm seeing behind the curtain looks like, so you actually can make a good game plan going forward. And if you don't want to talk to me, download the ebook. Tell you everything else to do.
Download the ebook or take the free 30 minutes.
Yeah, before we start charging for it, because Corbett reminded me I should make myself more valued by charging for these. No, I'm kidding.
You can do it over Zoom. You don't have to pay for like gas for me to measure your. Sorry, never mind. We'll cut that. Just cut that right out. Yeah. Well, this was very fun. Thanks for reaching out. Thanks for once again, you're being the first guest who's contacted me to be on the podcast. So this is a bigger honor than you probably realize. So
I want to be remembered. Yeah, I want to be remembered before you become the most popular guy. So therefore, when I reach back out for that favor, be like, remember, Corb, when you were a nobody and I reached out and we did that really cool podcast. Well, now that you got like 1 million, you're like right behind Joe Rogan. I can come on again.
Since you're probably going to be the one I hire to get me there, we'll just stay in touch that way. Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, thanks everybody for listening. Thanks so much for coming on the podcast, and we'll wrap it up right there. So bye, and thanks for listening, everybody. Appreciate it.